Apparently, Kathleen Kennedy is leaving. Apparently. And people are like, oh my god, she's leaving. What? Ah, we're saved. And it's like, well, are we though? Are we saved? Because it's like, because, at first I was thinking, okay, well, if she leaves, then, like, maybe this will be a good thing, right? Because, like, if Dave Filoni takes over, like, maybe he'd be a lot better. But then we got things like The Acolyte, and he would have to greenlit that. And it wasn't really well written, Like, I don't think it was as bad as everyone's saying it is, but it wasn't well written. You know what I mean? And so it's like, everyone's like, oh, we're saved if she leaves. And it's like, well, we're not really. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I just feel like even the best of the best at Lucasfilm, like Dave Filoni, could easily just do a bad job. They could just do a bad job, or they don't have the amount of control as we think they do. Because things like The Acolyte were made, and, well, I don't know. I don't feel like if Kathleen Kennedy left, we would suddenly have the best Star Wars in the world, Like, I don't see that happening, really, I just don't see that happening. And so it doesn't matter if she stays or leave, we're in the same situation, Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, but like, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, she's definitely made the worst decisions for Star Wars. Her best decision she ever made was The Mandalorian, but then, well, she kind of ruined that with Mandalorian Season 3, and I'll do a video about this, but there's going to be a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and, well, judging by the plot, it doesn't sound very good. There was actually recently a leaked trailer. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's not good. So, I don't know, it's not going well, to be honest with you. It's not going well. It's like with Andor, that's the only good thing of Star Wars right now. And, well, they wanted to do 5 seasons, right? But the actor didn't want to do, they didn't want to do 5 seasons. That's not their fault, but, like, it's just unfortunate, you know what I mean? So we got Andor Season 2 coming out literally Wednesday, and, yeah, like, it's just not, it's not good, like, Andor's the only good thing, and it's wrapping up, like, this year, so, I don't know, man, I don't know. There's, like, not a lot of hope for Star Wars, really, not really. I don't know. I just think Star Wars is, it's either a hit or miss, and it's going to remain like that forever. It doesn't matter who's in charge, it's going to be a hit or miss because of all the misses. Because people are going to assume it's a miss. It's like Skeleton Crew. That was actually a good series, and no one watched it because they're just going to assume it's a miss. So they're not watching it. You know what I mean? So it's now in a position where it's 90% more likely going to fail and a 10% chance going to succeed. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't, it look like we're going to actually get some, good Star Wars, if any Star Wars, because, right now they're only making things that are successful. And there's not a lot that's successful. The best chance for them to do is make movies, that actually work, And they have made, like, this group of fans that, like, that's good that they've done that. They recently made, like, this group of fans that make, help them make decisions. That could be good for the future, maybe, but at the same time, fans, have their own idea of Star Wars. Every single Star Wars fan is different. And so it's not ideal. There's nothing they can do that's ideal for Star Wars, because it's impossible to please everyone, you know? I feel sorry for Disney in a lot of ways. You know, honestly, everyone shits on Star Wars. Everyone shits on Disney, you know, and I understand why. They could do a lot better than what they have done, but I think, you know, they do a good job considering how it's made. Like, they have incredible sets. They have, you know, the globe, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I know what it's called. The volume. They have the volume, right? And just, I feel like the sets and everything look brilliant. Everyone goes, yeah, but it doesn't feel like Star Wars. You can, it feels like just what it is, like a set and everything. And, like, I don't know, honestly, I don't get that vibe. Like, when I'm watching the Star Wars stuff, it feels like Star Wars to me. That's just me, but I don't know, I don't get that vibe, you know? If you get that vibe, that's fine. But I personally don't get that vibe, so... You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get that vibe. I think where Star Wars is now, they're in a good place. Like, business-wise, they're in a good place because I think they're doing the right thing. They're making movies now. That's where they're heading. They're going to the movies. And that's where I think they need to be. Because if a movie just doesn't do well, it won't get a sequel, you know? So you keep making movies until it does well. And then you look at what did well, and then you do it again, you know? So, like, I feel like movies, they're in a better space than doing TV shows. Because people are at a point now where they'd rather get the DVDs than pay for Disney Plus, you know? So people are rather getting to just wait until something comes out, you know what I mean? And so with movies, you know, if, like, everyone can go to the movies, you know, as a special occasion, but no one's going to the movies, you know, constantly, you know what I mean? So like, some people will, some people won't, but, like, you know, movies, you can get a bit more on DVDs with movies, you know, like, just cool, like, you know, special editions, stuff like that, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I just think what they're doing with the movies is a really good thing, and I think that's going to be the best for Star Wars going forward. Anyway, recently Kathleen Kennedy said, oh, well, I'm not leaving, I'm just looking for a replacement for eventually when I leave. And then there's this huge conspiracy, like, wait, why is she saying that? She is leaving, she's covering up. I don't think she is covering up. I think she's just telling the truth, you know? I think she's probably thought, well, I'm getting on, you know, I'm not going to do this forever. I need to plan ahead. I'm going to look for someone so that when I do decide to leave and I do retire, it'll be instant, you know? So that they're kind of like, if she left, they're just kind of stuck and they, you know what I mean? So I feel like she's just planning ahead, and then she's gone, yeah, I'm planning ahead, you know? But I gotta say, it was weird. If that's the case, it was weird how they went about it. Because they kind of just let this article come out where, like, it was like, oh, she's leaving. And then everyone's like, oh, cool, great, she's leaving, you know? It should have been more controlled. And that, I don't think they have any control in Lucasfilm. There's just nothing there. Like, it's a mess. Everything that's announced is cancelled, like, a week later. It's ridiculous. Or it's put on hold. It's ridiculous. It's a mess over there. It's a mess, you know? And so they need to sort that out, you know? And I don't see that happening, you know, if they aren't already ahead on planning how to, you know, be consistent with everything they're doing. But they always make excuses, like, oh, it's because, things take time and, delayed and, it's a really hard process to, um, you know, and it's always like that. And that's how they always talk. You can see they're struggling with it, they're struggling to make these excuses because really they don't know what they're doing over there. They want things to be just perfect constantly, but they have people that don't know what they're doing. Everyone who originally worked at the original Lucasfilm completely got fired, and so you just got these people who don't know what they're doing and don't really care for it. All they're thinking about is the quickest way to make money, and they're willing to make things messy to make things done quicker. But ironically, things are taking longer. You know what I mean? It's like you have a recipe, you have a perfect recipe of Star Wars, what George Lucas did, with the legends and everything like that, right? And then they go, nah, I don't need that. I don't need to read that. I'm okay. Nah, I'll work it out. I don't need to put my time into it, honestly. I'll just do it bit by bit. I'll work it out. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like when you do that, you go, I don't need to read the instructions. I'm smart enough to do this. But really, you're not smart enough to do it, and then you're messing it up. That's what they're doing. They're seeing everything George did and said, nah, I'll do my own thing. I'll do it myself. But it's not working out for them, Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I don't really do a lot of Star Wars videos because, well, they don't really get views. I'll be surprised if these get any views. I did do a really cool video about how the origin of Star Wars and how, that started off and what inspired George to make it. So do watch that because it's a really good video. And currently, at the time of recording, it's got no views. So if you are watching this, I would appreciate you watching that because it's a good video. And I'm not just saying that because I made it. It's actually a good video. It's probably one of the best videos I've done of Star Wars. So I really recommend it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you lot in the next one. Peace.